Good morning, students. Today's is the second part of the chapter number 4, that is electoral politics. In the previous part, we have studied about the elections, definition, its needs, and the system of elections in India. So, the system of election in India, they are held after 5 years, whether it is of the Lok Sabha or of the Vidhan Sabha, that is the assembly elections. The election process, when it takes place, they are held in all the constituencies at the same time, and that is called general election. But when the elections are held only for one area, that is called by election. It could be due to the vacancy that is caused by the death or by the resignation of a member. Now, electoral constituencies are being made in India. It is divided according to the population of an area. It does not depend upon the uh, district area. That is, sometimes a constituency could cover more than one district. So there are about 543 constituencies in India, and each constituency, when the elections are held, the elected person is called the MP, that is the member of the parliament. The same way, Vidhan Sabha elections are being held and assembly constituencies are done. So MLAs are the persons, those who are elected from the assembly constituencies. Reserve constituencies are being made by the constitution makers because the minorities, they could not have their representation at the central level, that is the parliament level. So because of that, our constitution makers made reservation for the SC and ST and the elections, so in the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies. So our parliament assemblies would have been deprived of the voice of a significant section of the population. To avoid this situation, the reserved constituencies are being built. Now, local elections in India, now they are having reservation for the women candidates and other backward classes also. So this is the system of election in India. Second part is, that is the voter list. Second part, it covers the list of the members when the elect constituencies they are decided. The second decision is to who can and who cannot vote. So in a democratic election, the list of persons, those who are eligible to vote, is prepared much before the election and given to everyone. This list is officially called the electoral roll, and it is commonly known as voter list. Electoral roll is the list, that is voters list, prepared by a door-to-door survey to include all the bona fide voters and minimize the role of bogus voters. That is, bogus means irrelevant votes. To stop the irrelevant vote, bona fide voters are those persons who are above the age of 18. So right to vote falls under the universal adult franchise. It means that universal adult franchise means that citizens aged 18 and above, they can vote in election regardless of his or her caste, religion or gender. So this is an important step as it is linked to the first condition of democratic election, that is, everyone should get an equal opportunity to choose the representatives. So all the citizens are human beings. They have their own needs and their own views. So all of them, they should have a deserve to have a equal say in the decisions, because that is going to affect them also. So everyone is given the right to vote. So under the right to vote, voter list is being prepared. Now, how the voter list is being maintained? So it is the responsibility of the government to get the names of all the eligible voters and to put them on the voter list. If a new person attains the voting age, that is the age of 18, his or her name is added to the voters list, and no name of those persons who are out of place or those who have shifted to some other place or those who are dead. That means if someone dies, then his death certificate has to be submitted and their name has to be deleted. So this is how the names are added and deleted in the voter list. So complete revision of the list, it takes place after every 5 years, and this is done to ensure that it remains up to date. But sometimes some criminals and persons with unsound mind, they can be denied the right to vote, but it happens only in rare cases. Now, EPIC, that is election photo identity card, it is a system, it is a new system that has been introduced a few years back. The voters, they are required to carry this card when they go out to vote, so that no one else can vote in their place. But nowadays it is not mandatory to carry the EPIC card. Person could carry any other identity proof with him or her to cast the vote. So it is not compulsory for voting. The voters can show any other proof for identity like ration card, driving card or Aadhaar card. But EPIC card, it was introduced just to control the bogus vote, that is irrelevant votes. Now, nomination of candidates. So this is the third step. Nomination of candidate, it means the system of our country, as it provides no restriction on anyone to contest the election. Anyone who can be a voter can also be a candidate in the election, but the difference of a voter is that the minimum age limit is 18, whereas the age of candidate standing in the election, it's his or her age should be minimum or is 25 years of age. Now there are also some other restrictions on the criminals here again, but that also applies in rare cases. So candidate political parties, they can nominate the candidates who get the party support and symbols. So political parties work in a proper manner. They dominate or they makes their candidate declare a candidate to be to be a party representative in the election. In that case, that person could use the party symbol and would have the party support. So party nomination is often called party ticket. So that is why the person who is standing or is a representative of a party, that is called party ticket. The candidate has to fill a nomination form. So whoever is standing in the election, he has to fill a nomination form and has to give some money as a security. So security deposit is to be made also. So every candidate, he has to make a certain legal declaration has to be made by the candidate who is standing in the election, and that declaration includes education qualification of the candidate. He has to declare certain details of the assets and the liabilities. Now asset means whatever property income he or she is having, and liability means the dependents, whether the members of a family or whoever is depending on him. Everything has to be declared by the candidate. Then the candidate has to declare also if any serious criminal case is pending against the candidate. He has to declare about it also, because all the information that has been provided is to be made public in order to provide opportunity to the voters to make decision on the basis of information that is provided about the candidate. So the voter, he or she decides which candidate is good for him and who should win the election, and that decision is made according to the declaration that is made by the candidate. So nomination of candidate, it does not include education qualification. That means education qualification is not a requirement to be a candidate, whether a candidate he is a MP or MLA. So no relevant qualification for candidate is required, because the relevant qualification of a MP or MLA is that he or she has the ability to understand people's concern, problem, and he or she could represent people's interest. So education qualification, it would be against the spirit of democracy. That is why it is not being used as a criteria for election. as it would deprive a majority of citizens right to contest election, as still there are majority of the people in India are still uneducated. So as people are uneducated, they would be deprived of standing in election, and it is against the spirit of democracy. That is why education qualification is not being made for a MP or MLA. Example is being provided in your book to explain this by giving an example that a cricketer, he or she doesn't need to be educated, as the main work is that he or she could play cricket in a proper manner. So as athletics or a sports person needs to play well, the same way an MP or MLA has the ability to understand the people's concern. They could represent the people's problem and they could solve them also. So that qualification is the requirement. So education qualification is not considered in a candidate's qualification. Now, election campaign. So that is the most important part of the election process. Election campaign, it means that the promotion or the propaganda of the policies that are made by the candidate or the parties, offers and promises that candidate makes to the voters to fulfill, and if they are elected, that means if I am going to be elected, I am going to I have made certain promises, then if I am elected, I am going to fulfill those promises. So that is called the promotion or the propaganda. So during election campaign, the voters, they decide that the candidate, which candidate they are going to vote, and they vote for the candidate whose policies they like the most. So in our country, election campaigns takes place 2 weeks period and before the announcement of the final list of candidate and the date of polling. So before the final list of candidate is declared and the date of polling is decided, these 2 weeks are the period of election campaign. But during this period, the candidates, they contact their electorate. Electorate means it refers to the entire body of people who are qualified to vote in the election for the legislatures or for the local bodies. So electorate are the persons, those who are going to vote for the candidates. So they address election meetings, and the political parties, they mobilize their supporters. So this period is in during this period, the print media or the television news, they are full of election related stories and debates. So print media means the public information that is provided by newspapers, periodicals or magazines, and the television, they print about the parties and the candidates, those who are standing in the elections. So election campaign is not limited to these 2 weeks only, but the political parties, they start preparing for the elections months before they actually takes place. So it doesn't mean that the election campaign just takes place for these 2 weeks. They are started well before the election process starts. So the parties, they prepare their election manifestos. That means manifesto means a document that is published by the political parties before the election campaign. They can contains the policies and the programs of the parties. So political parties, they are having they want to attract the public, so that the issue that they are the policy that they are declaring, they are highlighted and they get the vote for their party on that basis. So that is the main role of election manifesto. Now, their slogans are being declared by various political parties. So some slogans are written in your book, like the Congress Party, led by Indira Gandhi. They gave the slogan of Garebi Hatao, that is removing of the poverty, in the Lok Sabha election in the year 1971. Save Democracy was given by Janata Party in the Lok Sabha elections of 1977, as they promise to undo the excesses that committed during the emergency and restore the civil liberties. The left front, they use the slogan of land to the tiller, that is, the land should be provided to the tiller, means the farmer who is tilling the land. That was declared by the in the West Bengal Assembly elections in the year 1977. Protect the self-respect of the Telugu was used by N.T. Rama Rao, the leader of Telugu Desam Party, in the Andhra Pradesh election in the 1983. So these slogans are being written in your book to make you understand the process of election campaign that is made during the election process. So slogans are a main part of election campaign. They attract the views or the ideas of the political parties. They attract the voters to vote in favor of them according to the slogans that are being declared, because they are the promises what they are going to fulfill after being in the government. Now, the main part of election campaign is the code of conduct and laws. So, to regulate election campaign, election commission has to control the election process, and there are certain laws that is called election laws. So, according to these laws, no party or a candidate, they can bribe or threaten the voters. That means they cannot give money or they cannot threaten the voters to win the election. So this can is not to be done. So the code of conduct includes the things that should not be done. Second part is that it appeals to them. That means parties, they appeal to voters in the name of caste and religion. It is not allowed. So nobody can appeal to vote in the name of caste or religion. No political party or a candidate can use government resources for election campaign. Beside this, no party or a candidate can spend more than 25 lakh in a constituency for a Lok Sabha election, or 10 lakhs in a constituency in a assembly election. If a party or a candidate is found practicing any of the above conditions that are written, they they can be rejected by the court even if they have won the election from that constituency. It means that if a candidate or a party is found practicing any of the above norms that are not allowed, they can be rejected by the court even after the elections are being won by that person or that party. So beside these laws, the political parties, they have to follow certain norms, and that is called the model code of conduct. Model code of conduct is a set of norms or guidelines that have to be followed by the political parties and the contestants, those who are standing in the election during the election campaign time, that is election time. So during campaign, no party or candidate that they can indulge in any of the following points, that is, they cannot use any place of worship for election propaganda. It means that no party or a candidate could use any religious place for election campaigning. So name in the name of religion, they cannot ask for vote, neither they can use any place of worship for election propaganda. Second, they cannot use government vehicles or aircrafts or even the officers for the election. That means the government vehicle or government officers, policemen, they cannot be used by a political party during the election campaign. It is not allowed. Third, once the election are being announced, that means election dates are being announced, ministers, they shall not lay foundation stones to any new project, or they cannot make any big policy decisions, nor they can make any kind of promise of providing any kind of public facilities. So because why all those things are not allowed? Because the working government, that is like BJP is in the working, and the elections are being declared, that elections are going to be held on that day. Once that day is decided, no new work can be started by the BJP government. No new foundation stones can be made either in at the state level or at the central level. So that is not allowed because it seems that the working government is trying to impress the citizens or the voters to vote again in their favor, as they are doing some new projects. So new project and new big policies are avoided, as they cannot be put into implementation if the working government loses the election that are going to take place. So these are the code of conduct that have to be followed by the political parties or the candidates, those who are standing in the election. Now the polling is the date or the day when the voters they cast or poll their vote, and it is called polling day. Every person whose name is in the voter list, he or she can go to nearby polling booth that is being created for the polling process, and he and she can cast the vote, and the casting of vote is made through a secret ballot. So polling booth is a makeshift place that is being made to for the people from where they cast their vote on the election day. And secret ballot is a system of casting vote in secrecy, so that the choice of vote remains a secret and it is not known to others to whom the person has voted. Once the voter goes inside the polling booth, election officers identify him or her, put a mark on the voter's finger, and allows him or her to cast his or her vote. So this is how the polling is being done. During the polling day, an agent of each candidate is allowed to sit in the polling booth, and the voting, whenever the voting is done, a member of a candidate, that means a agent, or not the person who is standing in the election, but his known person or his party member, that could be an agent, is allowed to sit inside the polling booth to ensure that nothing wrong happens, everything is done in a fair manner. The those officers who are employed in the polling booth, they are not indulging in any kind of unfair manners. So earlier the voting was done by putting a stamp on the ballot paper. A ballot paper is a sheet of paper on which the names of the contesting candidates along with the name, that is the party name, and the symbols were listed. But nowadays electronic voting machine, that is EVM, are used to record the votes. That means the voting is done by using EVM machine. The EVM machine, it shows the name of the candidates and the party symbols. The voter who is going to vote, he just has to press the button against the person or the name of the candidate he or she wants to cast his or her vote. So this is how the polling is done. Now the next step is the counting of votes. So once the voting is over, that is polling is done, all the EVM machines, they are sealed and taken to a secure place. The EVM machines, they are open on a fixed date that is already decided. They are, all of them, they are open, and each candidate voting is being counted carefully and accurately. And whenever the counting is being made, no unauthorized person is allowed into the counting center, and the result is declared by authorized officers only. Authorized persons, those who are allowed to count the vote, they are only allowed in that area where the EVM machines are being counted. So the candidate who secures the highest number of votes from a constituency is declared elected, and within a few hours of counting, all the results are declared. In general elections, the counting of votes in all constituencies, it takes place at the same time and on the same day. And within a few hours of counting, all the results are declared, and it becomes quite clear that will form the next government. This event of counting is reported on radio and televisions and newspapers. So this process of counting of the vote is the election process is completed. So election process in India, it takes place after 5 years, and the electoral constituencies are being built. Then the voter lists are made. They are being the voter lists that are made are done after every 5 years or so. Epic cards are being made by the government, but it is not mandatory to carry the epic card. Nomination of candidates is done according to the party ticket. If the person is standing on the party nomination, then it is called party ticket. Otherwise, the person is standing as an independent candidate. So whoever is standing in the election, he has to fill the nomination form and have to give some money as a security deposit. There are certain legal declarations that have to be made by the nominee, the person who is standing in the election, like qualification, education qualification, details of his asset and liability, or if any criminal case is pending against him or her. All these things have to be declared in the public, because according to the declarations made by the candidate, the voter cast his vote. Election campaigns are held within the 2 week period, but still the election campaign process very well before the election dates are declared. And whenever the election campaigns takes place, media plays, that is print media plays a major role, because they are full of election related stories, debates and discussions, according to which the decision is made by the voters to cast his or her vote. Now, election manifestos are the policies and programs of the parties or the candidates, those who are standing in the election, and they are made to attract the public attention. The public is uh, have to decide according to the election manifestos. Sometimes slogans are given by the political parties. These slogans helps the voters to decide which party they wants to be in the government. As certain slogans, they played a major role in the decision of the uh, election. Code of conduct has to be followed during the election campaign. These code of conduct, if not followed properly, the election commission, they can declare the elected person unfit for the seat. So counting of votes is done, and according to that the government is framed. So this is the process of election campaign. The last part of our this chapter is what makes election in India democratic, and what are the challenges or the drawbacks of the election campaign, that or election process, which we call democratic. So it is not that all the election process that are made in India it is democratic. There are certain things that declares the drawbacks of the election process, but still the elections are democratic. So hope you have understood the concept of election process. Thank you, students.